Peter Schiff says it's not Putin or the pandemic, it's the Fed. And I agree that they're not going to take blame. They're going to push blame on everything else except for their stupid policies. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here, and there's a link to all my socials, and a link to my mental health coaching and consultation page. All right, let's talk about this news. There is all kinds of spin out there when it comes to inflation. Peter Schiff recently appeared on News Nation to talk about the economy. He explained that the spin misses the mark. The real source of inflation isn't the pandemic or Putin, it's the Federal Reserve. The evil Federal Reserve, I would say. They do not have our country's best interests at heart. Well, Peter said he thinks that Q1 GDP contraction will turn out to be the first quarter of this new recession. Yeah, that's right, recession. That's going on. This is going to be a very deep recession. It's going to last for a long time, and it could be the worst recession anyone has ever experienced. Peter said inflation will make the recession particularly problematic. Inflation is high and it's going to be higher. So you're going to have the combination of a very weak economy and recession and high inflation getting worse. And inflation is going to complicate the severity of the recession and make it that much more difficult for average Americans to endure it. The host mentioned that Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen recently conceded that the economy will likely face more shocks and challenges in the future. But she continues to insist that the economy is strong overall. I mean, these are lies. Who believes this? All you got to do is just look at the cost of everything. Peter said Yellen has very poor understanding of the economy. I don't think that's true. I think she knows what's really going on, but she can't really say it. But Peter went on to say that she had a poor understanding as Fed chairman, and before that, she had a poor understanding when she was a member of the FMOC. She was clueless about the financial crisis that was looming right around the horizon. And of course, she was jumping on the bandwagon more recently of inflation being transitory. We remember when they all was saying that was the buzzword, when it was clearly not. So she doesn't really know very much about the economy. She's just there to talk up the economy no matter how bad it looks. She's going to put a positive spin on it, but it's a disaster. Peter pointed out the record trade deficit for April and reiterated the economy is a disaster. The host pushed back a bit, saying there are some signs that the economy is okay. I mean, really though? Really? He pointed out that the airlines have never been busier. Hotels are booked for the summer. That would seem to indicate consumers think things have the potential to be okay. Peter conceded that some people still have hope, but it's a false hope. The Fed is printing a lot of money, and the value of that money is going down. All you got to do is look at the Armwar Republic. I can never say that. But look what happened with their money when they were printing all this money out. But it doesn't, it's going to crash eventually. That's the truth. It's not about the consumer. It's about the producer. And I just said we have the worst trade deficit in our history because our economy is not productive. What we're doing is printing a lot of money, and we're spending that money to buy things that are made in other countries. So it's the rest of the world that's being productive, not America. We're being proflagnate. I don't even know that word. I'm gonna be honest with you, but that's what he said. Profligate. That's the word. We're just spending the money that the Federal Reserve prints out in thin air, but that's inflation. That's the source of inflation. It's not Putin. It's not the pandemic. It's the Federal Reserve. It's the U.S. government running record budget deficits being monetized by a Federal Reserve that's printing all the money. The money is losing its value. Prices are going up. The government is being dishonest about how much because the CPI grossly understates the degree at which prices are rising. Prices are rising at more than double the rate the government claims. And you know they're not gonna give you the correct numbers. And I will also add that we have a government spending problem too. Ron Paul had been talking about that for years, and they're just spending and spending and spending us into oblivion. And there's and the economy is getting worse and worse. So they're talking about a deep recession. I'm thinking more of a deep depression. But let me know what you think about all this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out themarketpublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.